it's Yaz from Yorkshire Peachy Therapies, and welcome back to another episode of Hop, Skip and a Jump. In today's podcast, I'm joined by the wonderful Helen and Lee from the Dog Trainer School. In this episode, we talk about the COVID generation of dogs. Me from a clinical perspective, but then also looking at Lee and Helen's perspective with regards to training. So I'm going to stop talking. Let's get into it. Helen and Lee, please, if people have not heard of you and your company, introduce yourselves. This is a whole new audience that I want to bring into your realm.
You go first.
Okay,
Introduce yourself.
So I'm Lee. I am one half of the Dog Trainer School, and we've been running for 2 years as of
This week.
So
Happy birthday, big milestone.
Yeah, very big milestone. Scary how fast it's gone. And I'll let you introduce yourself.
Oh, okay. So I'm Helen. I'm the other half of the Dog Trainer School. And yeah, we've also been going for 2 years. And we are a supportive membership for professional dog trainers.
In the UK and beyond,
And
we have.
beyond.
Yes, because you're international as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So for people who haven't come across your business before, so the first time that I came across your business is, well, we were both very drunk
Yep.
in a bar at the PIF Awards, and I said, because it was actually my husband Adam that said, you need to come and speak to this guy, and I was floating around everywhere, and I came and sat down, and you told me that you were a dog trainer, and I went, I just need you to answer a really quick question, and it's going to determine how long this conversation is going to be. Are you an ethical force-free dog trainer? And I'll paraphrase because I have to bleep it out, but basically you said, I'm nice to dogs. And I went, perfect. I'm going to get another drink. Let's get this conversation rolling. So that's how we met. And you were telling me about your membership organisation, which is it just for trainers, or can pet parents join?
So it's aimed at trainers. So, if you become a dog trainer and you get a lot of, if you're going for certification or qualification, or you're doing courses, it's all very much based on training dogs. And that's kind of all it covers, which is great, and people. But quite often you then become a dog trainer, start your own business, and you go, oh, actually, how do I plan a class? No one's told me that bit. Yeah. How do I produce a client handout? I don't know how to use a computer in that way. So we have all of that extra business support. So we have T's and C's templates, we have risk assessment templates, all those things that you go, oh God, I don't know how to do any of that. So we have all that stuff on our website. So if you want to do a 6-week puppy class, then you can just download our class plans and you can use them. If you
Amazing.
Handout, you can edit our handouts, add all your own branding, and make it yours. But we've done the hard bit, the design, the layout, done it all for you. So it's the extra bit that kind of is missing.
A full support service for dog trainers at any level is kind of what we are.
So it's, and these, these templates and everything, like it's the exact same in the therapy industry as well. You know the mechanics of how to do a massage, but then creating the paperwork, and then also how to run a session, to run a session when a dog doesn't want to be part of the session, how to have conversation. It's those kind of bedside manner skills, those soft skills that no one teaches you. So we just need you to replicate exactly what you're doing and add it into the therapy world, because you would just be absolutely inundated. But the training side of things is
help you with that.
So these methods that you use with the puppy classes and the templates, these are long tried and tested, because you've been in the industry for a lot of years.
Yeah. So I've been a professional dog trainer for 15 years.
Wow.
15 years this year. 15 years this year. I've been a professional dog trainer, run my own dog training business. So I still run, we still run first class dog training.
Right.
Based in Lincolnshire. I'm still out seeing clients. I take classes. I don't take as many classes as I used to, but I'm always still doing one-to-ones, workshops. We're man trailing later. So for me, it's really important that if I'm delivering all this information and writing these resources, as well as Helen, that that I'm involved, and I still understand what's going on and the changes and
100%.
developing the methods. A lot of the things that are in the dog trainer school have been developed by me over the years of being in the field, and just little techniques, tweaks to techniques and stuff that I've known that work, and I've trialed them on my clients, and they've been really useful. And we're very conscious of not gatekeeping any information, because what would be the point?
Exactly.
There's no point in me holding all the information, because we're all at the same space. We're all trying to help people, help dogs, help families. And if I just go, no, it's all my information, I'm keeping it all for myself, what
good's it going to do? Exactly. Yeah. And the more that you can teach people, that's a wider audience that you can reach out to. It's the exact same kind of model that I use with my training seminars. So you can't train away pain, because there's only so many hours in a day, and I'm one person. Whereas if I can teach a class of 12 people that not as in depth of, like 7 years worth of study, but like if I can give them some real tangible tools that they can be taking away and they can be using with their clients or their own pets. Like it tends to be a mixture of people that come to these classes. So it's predominantly dog trainers, but I have a lot of dog groomers as well, which I find like, because you see these things on social media, and social media is a beast in itself. But things like poor handling from the groomers side of the world, and there's people that are actively wanting to change that in the grooming industry, because unfortunately the qualifications that are there in the grooming industry, they cover the techniques, but the handling and the ethical side of it, not so much focus, because it's not as fun as getting that nice cut, because it takes longer when you're doing things ethically. But that's the nature of the beast. So with someone like myself, so someone who specializes in pain management, how often anecdotally would you say you come across dogs with behavior issues and you go, there's something off with you, dog, I don't know what's going on?
It's difficult to say in sort of a percentage, but I would say that, as you'll know, it's a fairly recent thing in the dog training industry where people have started to go, okay, let's start recognizing pain. It's not just the dog's being a dick. There's something else going on here. It's a fairly recent thing, and when it started to sort of first start to be talked about, a lot of people were like, no, bloody hell, it's all this, no, move on. It's just the dog just acting up or whatever. But now we recognise it more. I would say I'm much more aware of it, for sure. Yeah. I've worked with a couple of dogs literally just recently over the last couple of weeks where you've seen they're very young and you go, they shouldn't be acting like that. There's more to it. And as I always say, just go to the vet and just ask them the questions. Just say, we don't know what it is because we can't diagnose, but I'm pretty something's not quite right. And then start that conversation going with them. But yeah, there definitely it's more prevalent. I've got my own theories as to why pain is more prevalent.
Tell me. Tell me. No gatekeeping around here, folks.
Not just we're recognising it more. I was kind of thinking about this earlier when I was driving to one of my one-to-ones and knowing that we're going to come and have a chat and kind of thinking about the pain. And like I said, I think we're more aware, but I do think, and this might be quite controversial.
Go for it. Love it.
COVID and the abundance of poorly bred puppies. 100%. So we are now seeing that come out in another generation and another generation and another generation. So those puppies, for whatever reason, bred, not going to go into that, but for whatever reason were bred, weren't particularly health tested very well. They've now had litters, they've passed it on, and we know over COVID the amount of dogs that were bred was just phenomenal.
And I also think the speed of how breeds trend, I'll say trend, know how we move from like cockapoos, and now there's a hell of a lot of golden retrievers.
Retrievers are back,
and but where are they? Again, they're
coming from
quick breeding. It's not this tipped, scored, tested. They're just being bred, and it's not necessarily people are doing it they're just not knowing that this is something that
it's not. I don't think it's out of malice that these dogs have been bred. For the most part, obviously there's going to be hideous backyard breeders, but I 100% agree with you. I'm looking at, I've got a big kind of list of all the dogs that come to see me, and the majority of them I would say are under 6 years old. And that's a pain management clinic. Now, I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, what is it that I'm seeing a lot of younger dogs? I mean, for me, it's amazing because we can get those interventions in nice and early, and we're safeguarding that joint health, that dog's quality of life for longer because we're making a change a lot earlier. But it's when the dogs are coming in and they're under a year old, and we've got some pretty serious behavior stuff going on, serious gait abnormalities. There was in my day seminar, there's a research paper from 2018 looking at the rates of euthanasia for undesirable behaviours. So that can be anything from resource guarding through to human directed aggression, and the rate's absolutely staggering. It's like 800,000 dogs in 2018 under the age of 3. These are babies. These are babies, right? And I think it's a big kind of clusterfuck, for want of a better word. So yes, we've had that boom in breeding. We've had dogs that have been bred that aren't been scored, but also even if you have the parents scored, it's not a guarantee that they're going to throw a bad hip out from a couple of generations back. And then just the whole of COVID making dogs very, very anxious. Did you see an increase in anxiety and reactivity over COVID, or do you think it was because the volume of dogs increased?
Purely for me, because this has been discussed a lot with, the COVID generation of dogs, Definitely, I think pain has had an impact, pain and health. But honestly, I didn't see any massive behaviour changes. I think COVID for some dogs was actually really, really beneficial. Particularly things like appropriate puppy socializing for some puppies, because they couldn't go hooning around, meet everybody and everything. And actually, some of those became quite well-rounded puppies. We continued to train. I remember the night before lockdown, or the night of lockdown, I laid in bed 4 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and I'm going to swear, and I went, "Fuck it, I'm not letting this lose my business." I was running a course literally the day before, and 2 people on that course lost their businesses while we was on the course because they knew what was happening. So everything just collapsed around them, and I just went, "Fuck it, we're gonna fight this." And I went online, and we got incredibly busy around the world, and we got loads and loads of clients. And from all those puppies, I still know pretty much all of them because I follow them on social media, and we're still in contact with a lot of them. They all become really well-rounded dogs, actually.
Isn't that interesting? Because as well, I always see, when there's puppy parties. Now, I'm not a trainer, I'm not a behaviourist, but when I see those puppy parties that are potentially in like a village hall, and there's puppies of all different breeds running around, and I'm like, oh, it just makes me feel a little bit uncomfy. Because I think if I was a kid and there was loads of different, like I'd find that fucking intimidating. Pile on, and I'm like, oh, crikey, Moses.
So we do puppy socials, but our puppy socials are really structured. Dogs are on lead to start with, and I know we could probably let them all go and they'd be absolutely fine, but we structure it. We spend a good 20 minutes, half an hour monitoring the puppies and just doing some bits and pieces with them. Then we select the right type of puppy to go in. We've got a massive field, and we've got a big penned off area in that field which is specifically for our puppies, and we let them off in there, and we probably give them about a minute or 2. That's it. And the reason we do that isn't necessarily for puppies, but it's for the clients to go, that's inappropriate behaviour, that's okay behaviour, this is when to intervene, this is how to intervene.
Nice.
So education for the client. The puppy has a lovely time. And they come back knackered. And we've had up to 20 puppies over in our socials.
Oh my God, that sounds like so much fun. But the fact that it's structured though, And
Yeah.
it's not just a 20 puppy pylon, I think is really important. I think for me, the thing that makes me teeth itch when I see the puppy parties in the village hall or in the vets is the floors are fucking slippy.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're in a field, they've already got 10 times the amount of grip.
Yeah, we're either at the field or at the lake, because we're very lucky. We've got another venue we can use, and we go for, you know, our puppy social at the lake. We'll go for a walk with them all on a long line around the lake.
So gorgeous.
And then we select them. We say, you know, if anybody wants to let their puppies off lead, it's up to you. I will not force anybody to. But if you're going, we're going over here for a little bit of a social, again, interaction, education for the clients, and then that's it, done.
And if there's any that we think are not suitable to be let off, they won't be. You know,
right. Like a big Newfoundland, and then you've got like an Italian Greyhound. Running around. Prob's not. So just to circle back to, you said that you were doing a course and then kind of COVID hit, and unfortunately 2 people that were on your course, they lost their business. I had just qualified as a therapist. So I spent 1.5 years training. I shut down my dog walking business and I was like, let's go, I'm ready to go. And then COVID hit and that nearly collapsed my business. It was a really, really tough time. There was some hard decisions that were made. And that's when I went to online. I never used to do anything.
I didn't even know what Zoom was. I didn't have a clue.
No. And it's that versatility and having to think on your feet and diversify that's saved our businesses collectively. But then has also opened up a massive revenue stream that you can work not just with the people in your local area, but far and wide. So say a dog trainer comes to you and they've been doing really well with the local classes, because of course we have to still, like you say, be part of our local community. They're very, very important to us. But is there something in your academy that people can learn how to put themselves online if they wanted to?
I'll let you answer.
I was going to say, not at the moment, really.
There you go. There's another thing for the to-do list.
Yeah, it is on the to-do list. So we have had conversations with our members. So we do talk regularly about what they want and how it would look to transition to online. It's obviously very competitive once you move online as a trainer. So it's making sure that if you are going to do it, there's a reason that people spend with you and not another trainer halfway around the world. It is very competitive to move that way. But we do have members that do solely work online and do have trainers that are successful online. So it's we've had a few conversations with people, and it is something that we are looking at.
I'd say some of the mini sessions that I've ran for our members have been based on online stuff. So I've done loose lead in small places, recall in small places, class games in small places, stuff like that, that allows for online content. So if you go online, you're going to be probably watching somebody in their tiny little living room with their dog, or how do we train it? So giving them some hints and tips like that. So, you know, other than the tech part, that's nothing to do with me, that's Helen. But the training side, we've done stuff that has helped people adapt. So if they want to do online stuff, they can certainly do it. Yeah. Definitely. And there is more to come of that as well.
Very exciting. So with the online stuff, you two have been absolutely smashing your socials of late, and it's honestly, they're so funny. The one about the hoodie, I still laugh about it, just like every now and again, about the different types of hoodies that you wear. And I think that with social media, it looks like it's easy, but it's fucking not. I'm telling you now, it's not. Coming up with the ideas, finding what's trending at the moment. So have you done anything in your academy yet to help people with the social media content? Even if it's not TikTok videos, things like static posts and how to create content.
So yes, we have an online course that's on social media, so it's full of ideas of things to post about, post about. So I wrote. So my background is in media and marketing.
Nice. There you go.
So I wrote an online course for on social media. it's mostly just to give you some ideas of what to post and when to post and who your audience is. I think we see trainers on TikTok and Instagram, and a lot of trainers are local trainers, and they're not necessarily trying to get that same audience as somebody big name is. So it's thinking about who your audience is and how to speak to those individuals. So we have an online course for that, and then we do have like templates within the members area as well for like mostly the promotional ones. So if you're running a workshop, we've got templates that you can just put your own branding on and it's done. Because it's hard, no one teaches you, and I've been using Canva for 10 plus years. Like
Canva is the backbone of Yorkshire Futures Therapies. My book was written in Canva. Like everything was done in Canva for what is it, $10.99 a month? Oh my god, if anyone is looking to do anything with I think any business should have Canva. It's a no-brainer to me. It's an absolute no-brainer to me. Because it's so, and the updates they keep coming out with, it's like, oh my god. But it's social media is a tricky beast, but I always find that with my content, I do things to make people laugh. And that's something that you guys have kind of clicked onto really well. If you can get people laughing, you can get them engaged. If you get them engaged, then you can give them whatever your message is. Because canine pain shouldn't be funny, but I try and make it funny to, if that involves me dancing to then get a dog diagnosed with hip dysplasia in Ireland. So be it. So be it. The message is out there. The message is out there. But no, when I did my training, we didn't get taught about social media, how to run a business as well. You just get taught like the mechanics of it. So can people come to you if they're qualified trainers, but also if they're going through their qualification?
Absolutely. And even if they choose not to be qualified, they can absolutely come to us as well.
Right.
We've got a whole range. We've got people who are just starting out. We've got people who are dog walkers that want to go into training. We've got people that have been training for many, many years and have come to us and gone, oh, that's refreshing. There's new. Didn't know about that. Oh, there's some great ideas. That's really helpful. The support, the community, the confidence growing. And we just releasing our foundations course as well.
Working with
dogs foundations course, which is going to be suitable for groomers, dog walkers, daycare people, vet nurses, trainers, kennels. So anybody that wants to work with dogs, we are releasing our course. Well, it's released, but it starts in July, and that's presented by myself and Adrienne Wysock from where's she from? Detroit in America, who works our activity course. So she's on board with that with us. So we've developed this course together, the three of us, myself, Adrienne and Helen. So our foundation course is it's a really in-depth course, body language, handling, development of dogs. And
the body language
huge
goes beyond any sort of basic dog training course I've seen before. So the body language is really important, and we want to make sure that we were covering dogs interacting with dogs, not multi-dogs, not necessarily body language with humans, but if it's for dog walkers, if it's for daycare, it's really important that people are understanding how dogs are interacting with each other, and when to intervene or when not to intervene, and how to communicate with clients or the owners that aren't necessarily there as to what they're seeing and what that represents. I think we're missing
so we're not
a
just
lot of people. So you don't have to be a trainer after this course. There's an option to have some training basics at the end. For anybody that works with dogs and wants to feel a bit more confident, and as well if you're a dog owner and you just want a bit more info, that one would be for you as well.
You're a really keen dog owner. We've got some really keen dog owners that are already.
I've got some lovely keen dog owners. Isn't it refreshing?
Yeah.
So do people have to be part of your membership to join onto this course? You can. Oh, incredible! Well, I'll make sure to put the link in the YouTube and the Spotify as well, because I know a lot of people that would really love that.
So it's in two parts. So we've got the first 4 weeks. So these are live presented by myself and Adrienne.
They are recorded.
But they're recorded for the people that they've booked on the course.
Yes.
The first 4 weeks, the first 4 modules are body language based, all the stuff we've just talked about, a little bit of learning theory. Then the second half, the 2 weeks, the 2 modules are practical training exercises and how learning works with dogs and stuff like that. So if you're a trainer, you have to be a member. If you just want to buy the second the
Last
last 2 modules you have to be a member.
Mhm.
But by the entire package you can be anybody,
Or you could just do the first 4
or
weeks.
if you just want to do the first 4. So we've split it. The reason we split it because it needs to be, we're really passionate about the industry becoming way more user friendly. This is no disrespect to anybody out there, but from what we've seen, you know, we've got nearly 300 members now, and I've trained in the past and met in the past literally thousands of dog trainers, been involved with some of their businesses, and we've both helped dog training business, and we just want it to be a more user friendly industry. Build that confidence, get people out there. You know, so many trainers have all the knowledge, they've done course after course after course after course after course, and then they go, but I don't know how to get it out there.
Yeah,
because some of the information is kind of, they kind of need it, but there's a massive bit missing, and this is where we're trying to fill that gap and get people out there doing it.
And it's also the confidence for people, like for example a groomer. They may never want to be a dog trainer, but actually that information about, you know, looking at dogs' body language, or knowing more about dogs, learning about dogs in general, is helpful for them, for their business, feel more confident in what they're doing, and they don't have to do those final 2 weeks of these are how to train a dog, because they don't need that, or don't want that. They don't have to do that bit, so we're trying to make it as accessible and user friendly as possible.
Absolutely. I think because I get asked a lot if people can come shadow my work, and I'm yet to say yes to anyone, because I've been working with dogs now for 8 years, and the dogs that come to see me, the majority do have behavioural issues, and I've got obviously the pet parent in there, the dog, me, having another person in that room who's potentially a green handler it's just a no-go. It's just a no-go for me. But if I knew they'd say done something like your course, that gives me a little bit more confidence, that because the dogs that I work with, I mean, God love them, love every single one of them, but some of them are very sharp. And take no prisoners, and that's their right to be like that. But then I have to think of the safety aspect of inviting someone else into, you know, my clinic room is like it's a sacred space. It's sacred. So to invite someone else in to come, like if there was a way that I could set up a camera and someone could watch, that's absolutely fine. Again, it's not about gatekeeping techniques, it's about keeping people safe. Because with the pain management, I've niched into working with dogs that don't like to be touched. So that's just the way that it's rolled. So with so you're saying that you do like your one-to-ones and stuff. Have you got like a particular behavioural thing that you really love to work with, or will you work with any behaviour issue and you're just happy to be working with dogs? Have you got one that really tickles your pickle?
I try to remember that. So for me, behaviour wise, there's no particular behaviour. I love working with people. So why I've been doing this for such a long time, because I love working with people. I think working with people is the best thing in the world, and I love dogs. So roll them into one, it's great. I love teaching loose lead, and I know it seems like such a just a kind of loose lead, is that it? But actually, it's really, really fucking hard for a lot of people. It's life changing for some people and for some dogs as well. I've developed multiple techniques from just my own learning, and come up with techniques around loose lead work, because I think it's so loose lead and recall. If you can get those two things really good, it's likely to help a lot of behavior issues as well. Things like pain management. If you've got a dog with hip dysplasia dragging you down the road, well, you know, it's not going to help.
No, it's not going to help. And I see lead pull it. So from like a pain perspective, lead like excessive, like almost like frantic lead pulling or grappling. It can, obviously it's always going to be multifactorial. You're never going to fit pain in one box and behavior. They're always going to overlap. For me, if I see a dog that's really kind of grappling, it can be because the owner's not moving quick enough, and it's actually to move for a dog to move at quicker speeds. It's actually more comfortable. So it's like, okay, that pulling could actually be because they're uncomfortable. And with just to kind of clarify, well, your terminology of what is loose lead walking. Is that a dog walking to heel, or is that a dog just comfortably
Dog
being on a
walking
lead?
wherever the hell it wants to safely without pulling somebody over.
Excellent, that's perfect. Because another thing as well, if I see this with dogs who do a lot of like heel work, so that can be for sporting reasons. I don't see too many sporting dogs anymore, but gun dogs as well that are kept in heel. If they're kept in heel too much on one particular side, it can actually cause like a curvature in the spine because they're overcompensating. And as well, you know, when they're holding the head up as well, like it all.
That's not loose lead. If they're looking for food, that's not loose lead.
Yeah. That's what?
That's following food.
Yeah.
So that's how we start it. So, and this is the thing with loose leads, what I'm really passionate about it, because we start it, we need the prompt, we need a little cue for the dog, checking in, that kind of stuff. I don't like too much checking in for too long because it makes it uncomfortable for the dog. But for me, loose lead is to get to the point of where the dog is walking naturally. It has a natural gait that might be slowed down to our human pace, because we know dogs walk faster than us anyway. So if the dog can learn to walk at a more natural gait, walking with us, next to us, behind us, in front of us, off to the side, I don't really care. But it's walking, and it's not just going food, checking in, twisted its neck, and it becomes almost like a reflexive thing. And I find this a lot with spaniels in particular, and this kind of going to go off on a bit of a tangent.
I'm here for it.
But when we're looking at particularly spaniels, you know, we live in the Fens, so I work with a lot of spaniels. And asking a spaniel that is naturally going to have its head down on the ground, snuffling around, trying to scare birds off the ground, to have their head up and look up as they're walking along for, you know, it might be an hour's walk. That's going to be quite damaging. So I want the dog just to notice where the client is. Where the person is at the end of the lead, not necessarily be staring at them, like you said, causing that curvature of the spine. Probably if it's on the left hand side, it's probably going to be putting its back hip out, because it's going to be crabbing. You know, even just walking at an angle.
The dog does not get the enjoyment from that walk. Like, you've walked a spaniel like that for an hour, and it's come back, and it's like, come on, let's go.
Yeah, when does the walk begin?
Even though it's been out.
So actually, So my passion of loose lead walking is to get to a point of where you are not using food. You've used food. Now let's get rid of it, because we need to phase it out pretty quickly, in my opinion, and then just get the dog to be walking at a more natural gait, so it becomes lead walking rather than this staring at the person just because they got a bag of food. That's how we start it.
It's all well, from just observation of dogs that are, you know, going through like ethical force retraining. It's all about connection and building that connection. And then if you get to a stage where, yes, you've got that lovely loose lead walk and you've built that connection, then I imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, that connection will then bleed into the recall stuff that you're asking of the dog.
Everything improves. Everything. Recall improves, because if you think about recall, it's just connection. Most of the dogs you work with, or we work with, we could say, I could teach a dog that here means food at my feet, here means good stuff's going to appear at me. Doesn't mean they want to. And if they've got a connection with you anyway, they're more likely to do it. And again, they're going to just, they're just not going to fuck off anyway. They're going to like hanging out with you.
I've got one dog that I am looking at now. She's called Lily. She's Velcro dog. She's a sticky dog, and I'm like, go on, get gone. And she does. She's and then she'll kind of like go in a circle, but she like checks in, and I go, "You okay? Go on." She goes, "I'll just come back in, check." I go, "Okay, lovely checking. Get away, just go and enjoy your environment." Because I'm always very honest. When I first started training, I was a pet parent, and I thought dog training was dog training. And it was only when I qualified as a therapist that I realised that dog training is not just dog training. So I did train balance. That was with slit leads and corrections, and having a sticky dog and having them in heel. So even now, I'm still unpicking that 5 years later, to go on, go away. But you do the best you can with the information you have at the time. And I'm always really honest about it, because, you know, I wouldn't want anyone to think that I didn't know it all when I started, you know. And it's only through further education that now I'm like way on the other side, and my animals are free spirits and they're sentient beings. Adam just says Peggy's a dickhead. She is a dick. I love her. God love her. She's a Romanian rescue. She's got beautiful loose lead walking. Better than the other two. She's just absolutely gorgeous. However, if she's sniffing something and I've not recognised that she's stopped, she like and then she's like, I will back out of this harness if you don't let me. I'm like, okay, Jesus, all right, okay. She also has the recall of a teaspoon, so she's not let off. Because unless we're in like a secure place, because if I recall her, I'll go, Peggy, come, and she'll look at me and go, why would I do that? And I'll go, oh, because your radar is just a little bit, your radio story is a little bit too far for what I'm comfortable with. And she goes, yeah, fuck you, mum. And then and I'm like, she's just a free spirit. She's just a free spirit, and she's a street dog. And I don't think I'll ever get that out of her. That's just who she is.
Absolutely, yeah. They're a different species.
What you got.
I'll work with what I've got. I've got the loose lead walking. That'll do, mate. And
they all have quirks that we have to live with. And Bollo's the same. If you shout Bollo, you
little
go,
lurcher.
Bollo!
Yeah, because everyone's seen the deer. I'm like, oh, shit,
like,
Bollo! And he's like, where is it?
Yeah.
Like, what? No, I just tried to sneak up on him and
grab it.
Rugby tackle him.
Because the nurture, if he goes, he ain't stopping.
Yeah.
No. And I think as well, it's taken into account like those genetic differences in dogs. Like Lily's cockapoo cross Chihuahua Shih Tzu, so predominantly like toy breeds. So she wants to be with me all the time, whereas Peggy's an ex-Romanian street dog.
Used to be on her own, hanging out.
She's on her own and going like, why? It's just survival. That's how she's survived. She loves being up at height. She's resilient. She's like a fucking mountain goat. She robs anything edible. She's worked out how to get on this desk. She's sent emails before, trudging around trying to see what I've left on there. And I'm like, it's all right.
They're the type of dog, if we let our 3 dogs out, your dog and our 2 dogs out into the street, and if there was no traffic for 6 months and they could make it, your dog would survive, our dogs would starve.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she would survive. Lily and Rodney, not a prayer. Rodney would be like, does anyone have any paracetamol for my dog?
Exactly. Yeah.
Please, like,
save me.
Save me.
2 hours.
I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. So, but it's interesting as well, because I imagine that with the training support that you give as well, because I need to mention this, is that you've created a community, a supportive community, because being self-employed is brutal.
Yeah.
Being self-employed in the animal industry is even more brutal. So finding people who are in your tribe and just get it and genuinely supporting each other. I love supporting other people in small businesses. We're just out here trying to make as much of a difference as possible to make the world a nicer place for our dogs.
Exactly. Yeah. And the community that we have is exactly that. We are often told it is the most supportive group that they are part of. Often told it's the only place they post and ask questions, because it's the only place there's no judgment. We are there is no judgment. There is no, we don't talk shit about anybody.
We are incredibly strict about how our community communicate. You know, if you're in our community on Facebook or however it is, you don't slag off your trainer down the road, your client, their dog, nothing. You know, we're there to support. And, you know, if people want to bitch, go and bitch elsewhere.
There's plenty of groups for that.
We don't want. We don't want to create that.
It's toxic. We don't want a toxic.
Yeah, and negativity breeds negativity.
Absolutely.
As well. I think, especially in the therapy world, there's one kind of like prominent group for animal physiotherapists and therapists. There's like a weird hierarchy about qualifications, which is kind of gross. But for a long time it bothered me, and now I'm like, I'm not bothered. I'm just quite happy doing my own thing. And the thing that makes me sad is that people always post questions anonymously. Because they don't want to be identified, because people jump on. It's like, sure.
And we get the odd one that does that now, and I think that's because of
other group
history. because they go, well, actually, you know, it's my first post. I'll put it anonymously just in case I'm going to.
Just in case you get swamped. Yeah.
You know, and absolutely not. And we make sure, you know, we are, Helen and myself, maybe more Helen than me, is on social media all the time because it's part of our business. It's not because
huge part of the business.
It's massive.
Yeah.
So if somebody doesn't get a question answered, we try and answer if best we can, so people aren't just left hanging and silent.
Yeah.
If and obviously there are points that sometimes we do miss things,
because
but
we're human. Because we're human, I miss things as well. I'm terrible for it.
Yeah, and you know, it's keeping that sense of community. So if somebody comes in who's literally just started their dog training journey, and somebody who's been in there 15 years, that person of 15 years isn't allowed to make that person that's just come in feel inferior. You know, they feel weird. You know, and my kind of saying with that is like, remember you were them once.
Yeah, we were all babies. We were all green handlers. We were all. God, I left working in a bank to be a dog walker because I just wanted to spend more time with my dogs.
Yep.
I did an online canine first aid course and a diploma in canine communication and thought, that can't be that hard. I love dogs. Yep. Fuck me. Yep. Did I learn a lot? In the last 3 years, I learned a lot. And even now, I'm still learning because of the clinic that I run and the new dogs coming in. Every single dog is going to teach me something different, whether it be about handling styles, even down to how I move around the room. Some dogs I can't stand up. Because that's way too intimidating. So I have to like shuff around on my ass like I've got But that's just how I work. And I think it was my mother-in-law. She was like, "Why don't you work with them on a massage table?" I was like, "Are you fucking mad?"
Yeah.
No, like absolutely not. I was like, "That's such a terrible experience." And she's like, "I was just thinking about your back."
Near my face.
That's also closer to the fucking face. Exactly. But and like at height, like absolutely not. But that's the way that I work. I choose to work on the floor. I choose not to have any equipment on the dogs. The only time they have to keep a collar on is if they've got what I deem as an active bite history. So say if it was a nip from a resale scad, I'm like, no, not interested in that. I'm on about a dog actually like proper nailing someone. Muzzles aren't kind of like compulsory. It's only if there's a public order against the dog that happened once and they have to be muzzled, or if they're muzzle trained and the owner just feels more comfortable with the muzzle. But they have to have been suitably trained, ethically trained with it, and comfortable. I won't work on a dog that's not happy.
But that comes down to your experience of how long you've done it for, and also, you know, learning not how to work with dogs, but how to work with the person at the end of the lead, which is 80% of what we do. You know, we do probably even higher. Working with your person is so important. You know, we have multiple times, but I want to work with dogs. Okay, don't be a dog trainer then.
Because you predominantly work with people. I say it's 50-50 what I do. 50% is working on the dog and 50% is working with the pet parent. Because although I'm like gabbing about what's been on the telly, I'm watching that dog, and then maybe if the owner then goes and puts the hand on the dog whilst I put my hands on him, and then the dog goes, "I didn't like that," and I'll go, "Well, which end was it?" So that's why, like, if possible, again, it's dog to dog dependent, but if possible, it's just me touching the dog, and then maybe the owners giving treats. But I always say to people, like, because most of the time the dog's sat in front of me and I can't see their face, I can just see like maybe the side, just little bits. I can see a little bit of the brows, their ears. And I always say, if I've missed something, normally I feel it further down in the body, and they go, it's like a stillness, you know, stillness they get in the face. It's like a stillness they get in the body. It's almost like they're holding their breath. And I'll just take my hands off for a second. But I always say to the pet parents, if I miss something, just say Yaz, and I'll stop straight away. So again, giving pet parents the confidence to, you can tell me if I've missed something. You can, that's okay, because you're looking at their face. I'm working with their ears and the back of their head at the moment, so I can't.
You've got to build up a trust between the client and the dog, exactly the same as us. You know,
you've
got to trust that dog that you work with has got to trust you, and that person that you work with has got to trust you, and you know, vice versa.
Yeah. And I always find that especially when it's new pet parents coming in and they're not quite sure what to expect. And I'm like, let's just bring it down a notch. Here's a cup of tea. Sit down. We're just going to have a little chat and let your dog just wander around the room and just settle in first. And just bring in the energy. Because if people come in and they're really fizzy, the dog's going to be fizzy and I'm not going to be able to touch them. And I think as well, when you have a dog that is reactive or has an aversion to intentional touch or is nervous, that then puts the pet parent on the on the back foot, because they're like, I don't know how my dog's going to respond. And I always say, listen, your dog can do no wrong in here. Everything's communication. They could lay a shit in the middle of clinic and I go, oh, Poppy, do you feel better now?
Yeah.
I just clean it up. I was like, what are you expecting to happen? Well, and I go, it's fine. You just need to.
It'll be
Everything's going to be okay. That's why I'm here. So thank you so much for coming and talking to me today. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, if anyone's listening and thinking, oh, that sounds like a bit of me, where can people find you on social media and your website?
So we are on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and we are the Dog Trainer School.
Excellent.
Yep.
Yeah, love that.
That's what the business is called. That's what all our social media.
So the Dog Trainer School, and if you want to find us online, we are www.thedogtrainerschool.co.uk.
So there you have it. I thought that Lee and Helen's perspective on lockdown actually been a positive thing for some dogs was really good, especially when it comes to puppy socialisation. So if you're looking for business support or you want to up your game with regards to reactivity training, I cannot recommend Helen and Lee enough. They are incredibly dedicated and it's an absolute joy to have met them and to continue to work with them. If you have enjoyed this podcast, please make sure to like, share and subscribe, and make sure to check out Helen and Lee on their socials. That's at the Dog Trainer School.